Good morning. My name is Enrique White Fais. I'm a Cuban, Afro-Cuban, Jamaican, and I want to try to do every of you to explain my little way to speak English because I'm a Cuban, but I'm also Jamaican. My dad was Jamaican man, and he teach me to speak English. Well, the point I want to explain you, all of you, that most of the people of Cuba cannot explain you because they are not allowed to speak very well English, and also I don't think I speak very well English. But I will try. I will try to be understanding. Uh, why I have to do this video? Because I start to see in the social media this Black Lives Matter is start to support the most criminal dictator that never happened in our continent. Yes, Fidel Castro and the Cuban dictators for 62 years, they are most of the terrorist, criminal, and racist dictatorship in the history of our continent. Let me explain you what is the point everything about. And I will explain you all of you what is gonna happen is happening now in Cuba. Look, what happened in Cuba is anything to do with the United States. If we waiting for the United States help us to fall down these criminal, terrorists, racists, the apartheid they have in Cuba again, the people like me, if we expecting the help for the United States, we never will go coming free. Never. That's why it's impossible that America is the force that anything happened in Cuba. Everything happened in Cuba is because of us. The Cuban people live outside the country. We are 4 million of the people, white, black, Latinos, whatever you want to call this all definition you have in your English language. And I want to explain you something. This is fundamental. They don't have anymore the control to the information. They have the 2014, when Obama going to Cuba and take away to the embargo and take Cuba again to the terrorist country, he made the most bigger mistake in his life. Why you cannot do nothing of this? Because the Cuban is the most racist. Number one, before the anything, is the most racist country in the world. The more apartheid. Even South Africa have the apartheid we have to suffer in Cuba. And Obama, he made the more bigger mistake in his life. I can understand all of you talking about racism because I am victim of racism in any place in the world I go. But this is nothing to do with Cuba. You compare the racism in Cuba, oh my God, you don't have idea what is the life we Afro descendant in Cuba we have, Afro-Cuban descendant we have in Cuba. Point number one, big mistake. You listen what they say the media around the world, and the media transmitting everything that the criminal and every criminal government around the world inform the official media for every single criminal government and system around the world. It's kind of including Cuba, like China, North Korea, or whatever, or Venezuela. You start to reproduce in your media, United States, CBS, or what the dictator that killing thousands and millions of people in his country, his own brothers and sisters, and you reproduce in the media of the United States. That's I can understand how in United States and how around the world is so many problems because, for example, is the Chapo Guzman, he kidnapped one city or one province in the Mexico, and he becoming the president, and he said the law will be the cartel here, and now the president, and he make like a official government there in this. You will transmitting in BBC, CBS, news, media that the Chapo Guzman say. Well, it's the same case like Cuba. You be transmitting in any media around the world. That's why I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. The first I live in Finland for 15 years. The first day I come into Finland and I hear what the TV programs say about Cuba. Oh my God. The most criminal and terrorist government in the world and the most racist people in the world. They say they are give education and they have good system with healthcare, with nothing. Nothing of that. No, point number one. Let me explain you how the Cuba. That is very important. Do you know? Thus, the manifestation coming in the street of Cuba, because every single Cuba we are outside the country, we start informed how is the life in democracy. When my first time I come in to Finland and I stay here and I see the standard of the life of the people. And I went to England, for example. I went to England. Let me tell you the history of my family. My father left Cuba in 1946. He tried to, go into the boat to the police to try to get into United States. But the boat stopped in front of Havana, take my father away to the boat because they find him and one friend of him. They was traveling together. And my father liked Cuba, and also he had a family in Cuba, and he decided to start to stay in Cuba, and because he told me the standard of the life in Cuba was very, very good in compared to Jamaica, and he stayed in Cuba. I born in Cuba. I'm a Cuban, but also Jamaican, and they teach me the personality and every. I am like a Jamaican man. I know the typical Cuban person. But if you know the life I have in Cuba, let me explain you who I am. I am the writer, you know. The name is The Mind of God, my books. This is my books. This is my picture 6 years ago. And this is the book. This kind of book is like a Game of Thrones, Vikings, Lord of the Ring, and Pirates of the Caribbean, something like that. And I can read whatever. I have this is a style of literature. I am one of the people around the world who can writing the typical book and literature novels like English cultures, because I'm between the two cultures, the Spanish and English. And when I hear the people speak English, and I understand perfectly. Of course, it's not my mother language, but I try to explain what is going on about Cuba. I'm a writer, and well, because why I try to put this subject first in front of you, of the camera, because you must know that I am not the criminal. I am one of the most decent person in the world. And the communists in Cuba made me live like a criminal, sleeping in the streets of Cuba, running away because one simple thing, I think something different to the communists. And every person there in Cuba want to express themselves and they want to be a democratic person. They becoming immediately the enemy number one of the Cuban dictatorship. They persecute me for all the island because they want to me in prison, and they consider me the most criminal person in the world because I have democratic idea. Only this simple reason: black person, writer, and they have democratic idea. This was my criminal act in Cuba. This was enough. and I have to be running for the island, around the island for 15 years because they persecute me every city of Cuba I visited. And I will explain what is going on about Cuba, how is the life of the black in Cuba. Listen to me. We're talking about this hospital. They have good system care. You don't have to pay nothing. It's free. It's for everyone. Liar. It's liar. This is the most bigger liar in the history of the world. They have hospital. Yes, they have hospital with good quality. But this is not a hospital for the Cuban people. These are hospital for the tourists, diplomatic personnel they have in Cuba, and this exclusive group of the nomenclatura of the Communist Party on Cuba. By uh, outside this, all the Cuban people have to go when they are sick, the most disgusting hospital in the world. You don't have idea how are the hospital for the Cuban people. And we have black people have prohibit visit and be attending in this hospital. Even I have the money, we cannot be attending in hospital for tourists. Remember, we had the hospital apartheid in Cuba. One kind of hospital in Cuba, it is the quality similar to the first world, and they has the hospital for Cuban. They are more born awful condition, terrible condition than Africa hospital. You don't have idea how many family I lost because they are sick and they go to this hospital and they get some bacteria, they get some complication and they die. They die. And another problem is very dangerous for a person like me. When I was sick in Cuba, I don't go to the hospital. Because if I go to the hospital, they can inject in me some, sickness, like hepatitis B or hepatitis C or this HIV or something. They do this with the people, think different. I was not in the opposition. My brother was in the opposition. He died because he get some problem, some this benign cancer in downstairs to the arm, and my father was in the line like 1.5 years, and they don't attend him, and they don't want to attend him because he was in the opposition in Cuba, and the opposition don't have right to. So even when you are black people, you don't have right. You can imagine when you are black and you are in the opposition in Cuba. Well, this is the point. Number one, we have prohibit be attending in the hospital for tourists, and they don't let us to buy medicine in this hospital. I remember I have the problem of the ulcer. What is coming the problem with the ulcer, my stomach in Cuba for me? Because the water in Cuba, it was so disgusting. It has bacteria, helicobacteria, parasite, and everything. Because the water don't have filters. And yeah, it has filter, but it got one filters, and the filters are most older than the Cuban Revolution, 62 years old, more older than 62 years old, because they don't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Don't create nothing. Don't control nothing. Well, I would coming sick of my stomach, because I start to have the problem with the stomach, like it is problem like an ulcer. I went one time in this hospital for the tourist in Havana, because I walking around to Havana to try the medicine, because I have a lot of burn in my stomach. The ulcer is burn the wall of your stomach. When I went to there, I get inside to the hospital and I wait in the line for the pharmacy of this tourist hospital. When my turn coming, when the woman working there asked me, "Give me your document." And I give the woman my document, my Cuban identity, and the woman shouting me in front of the tourists was, what you doing here? You don't know. This is not the place. You Cuban. You are Cuban. What are you doing here? You cannot come buy medicine here. I feel this day so bad. I don't want to have discussion with this woman or anyone. I get away to the hospital, sit in front, and you know, sit in the bank and stay there to try to relax something because the pain was too much. When the one Germany was in the line after he buy his medicine, he coming out to the hospital, cross the street and asked me for, hey boy, give me this $20. I will buy the medicine for you. $20, and this time it was 2 months of the salary of the middle class of Cuba. Well, I give the $20. The Germany buy the medicine. I know you know what the Germany guy told me. Is this happening in Germany? Every black people, Jews, Latino, and Arab, Asian people, they go and they burn Germany. This I never think this can happen in some place in the world. You cannot buy medicine in your own country because you are Cuban. I say, well, it's possible because I am Cuban, but it can be possible because I am black. Because the law is for everyone, but you must do understand, man, in any society, the black people have uh, the most, let's say, the most uh, down situation. The black community always, we are the down the downs community here, group of community here. But he say, how is this possible if you are the most of the people I see in Cuba are black? And say, anyways, but the people are in the government are white. Black don't have any power here. Fidel Castro, his family, everyone around all the minister, all the generals of the country, they are white. And they live like a rich and multimillionaire people. And these people, of course, they hate black Cuba. They hate more black Cuba than anything in the world. You don't have idea the way they try us in Cuba. And they saw this black American, they are also my family. Because I'm not only Latino black, I'm an English black too. And really angry, I see to this, they go into America and they lie everything to hell with the newspaper and everything, that they have good care life and good situation for Cuban people. And you black start to give money. The people, the money they use it for buy instrument, torture, the money they use it for prohibit us to rent the house, the room, and the hotel. I remember when I live in Cuba, I don't know if this law changed, a little change, but we cannot buy a car, we cannot buy a house, we cannot get inside to the hotel. If I want to rent when I was living in Cuba, if we want to rent the room in the hotel, it's prohibited for us. Fidel Castro, these dictators, now Raúl Castro Diaz-Canel, they prohibit the black rent the house in the room in the hotel. Even sometimes when we went to the hotel and want to buy one drink in the bar, they kicking us and they call the police to take you away to the hotel. And also they don't let us sometimes to get inside the bar. It was some bar in Havana. They don't let me into the bar because they say, no, with the hair you cannot get inside here. No, it was not because of the hair. Because I have a friend, they had dread or rasta, and they was white, and they let into the bar. It was about color. This is most racist people in the world. Of course, the tourists don't understand that because they use this big gorilla black. You know, this gorilla black is this educated by Fidel Castro and his dictatorship, and they are racist. Uncle Tom, they put every bigger Uncle Tom in every door to every place, beach, restaurant, bar. Don't let the black get in. Sometimes I have discussion with these people, and sometimes I hit someone of them, and the police take me away to the station, And I be a problem. Tourists see and fight with the black person, and I'm angry with the black person. They say, it's because something happened. They don't understand this is racist people. The apartheid in Cuba, they put the black in the door to put you to, black again to the black that the tourists cannot see is the level of apartheid they have in Cuba. Also in the beach, black people, we cannot go to the beach. One time I was on the beach, I went with my girlfriend, and because in Cuba it's prohibit that the people talking with the tourists, and especially black people. They have 5 police in every corner, of 3 or 4 police in every corner of Havana, and every corner of the tourist place around Cuba. And this police has camera, and anytime the black walking around there or walking to us, they ask for the document, and they arresting the black people all the time. They are militarized the country from 1959 still today. That's what happened. The terrorist system they have in Cuba, that's why the people don't go out and fighting for the freedom, because the people have so much terrorism state up to the 24 hours today. The people cannot fight. They cannot conspiracy. Of course, they are so poor. They are so misery. You cannot be conspiration, because you don't have money for conspiration. You don't have money. You don't have food. You don't have water. You don't have electricity. They don't provide the woman when the period is coming. The Cuban woman don't have this tap on this hygiene thing to put in his part when the period is coming. This happened for 62 years in front of you, and you are black people support this criminal. What the hell is going on in this world? And also, they don't provide the people to have toilet paper for cleaning his part, like me. I use toilet paper in my life. The first, when coming and Finland for the first time. And I was surprised how was the world outside the Cuba, because the point is, the people cannot. The problem in Cuba, it was for 62 years. The real problem was the Communist Party has the 100% control of all the information in the country. They have to control the newspaper, TV, radio, all belong to the Communist Party in Cuba. Of course, they manipulate the information 24 hours a day. And all my life, what I born and still now, I never hear the media in Cuba say only one true. Never in my life. Never. Everything they say is like, we have the kerosene. Liar. They have the worst system in the world. They have good education. Liar. This is not education. This is indoctrination. It's nothing to do with the educated. People in Cuba are not educated. Whatever. No, this is indoctrinate people, and they say in one moment is enough, because they use it when you have the control of the information. This is the Iceland. No information, they don't let in any information, they don't let out any information. And the people visit the country, and the European white men and these old men going to visit, they're going for prostitution. They will enjoy the country, and they have a statue queue in Cuba. Everyone is so misery, extremely misery, most miserable people in the world, and you coming from the Europe of United States or wherever you want, and you are multimillionaire in front of these people living in Cuba. This was the situation in Cuba for 62 years, but in this 62 years, they have all the control of the information of the country. Of course, the people in Cuba, they are not scared. Even they are the most terrorist system and the more criminal. They take you and disappear you from the street, and the people don't see you anymore. It's prohibited for black people has a white, is foreigner woman. If the woman is a black, it's no problem. The police don't tell you nothing. Listen to me. listen to me, because I am exactly the Cuban can talk all of you what is going on in Cuba. Me, I am specific because I am one of you that involved in Cuba. That's why I can speak with you the English now and try to speak English with you now, because I am one of you, English, black person, Afro-English, Afro-Latino that's born in Cuba. That's why I can explain everything that happened in my country. That's why every person in this industry is nothing to do with the United States. Anyways, the Obama made me many mistakes when they give so many help to the criminal terrorists and torture people, assassinate people, and apartheid criminal people in the world, the most criminal people in the world. You don't have idea how terrorists and criminal and everything that is liar. Everything you listen about Cuba is liar. Liar. Absolutely everything is liar. We live in Cuba like more, our life is more difficult in Cuba than the dog. The dog lives in the street, living in the street, they have more possibility than the black people in Cuba. They have more possibility because people give the food to the dog are in the street. But we have to fight for eating. Fighting for eating. Only eating in Cuba. This is the way they try the black people. And let's continue to the point. I tell you this, you has girlfriend, white girlfriend, for any part of the world. The police sometimes catch the black guy and bring to the station and accuse there you have relationship with the foreign. Yes, it's prohibited to have relationship, man or woman, or Cuban woman, or black man, black Cuban woman with any foreigner around the world. But it's a black person, it's no problem because they don't want to show the apartheid they have in Cuba. If you are girlfriend, black girlfriend from the United States or Jamaica, whatever place in the world, well, you can have like a quiet time in Cuba with your black person. But when the woman, you are black and is a white woman, these white people are in the camera and every place in the street because the police in the street are black, but the people, the box and the camera, the control and everything, they are white. And they say, ask the document, this guy is going walking the street with a white woman. They ask you your document, the woman don't understand what happened in Cuba, and they kidnapping you to the street. And sometimes so many of friends of mine disappears. Sometimes they have 15, 16 arrests because of the color of the skin. We cannot walk in every single tourist. Let me explain you what is the point. Very basic thing. When you travel in Cuba for any city that is belong, you have like some tourists, and most of them have the tourist circulation about Cuba, like Havana, Varadero, Trinidad, Camagüey. All of this city has the tourists. Well, when you are walking and you are black, because the law is for every citizen, remember, but the application is only against the black because we are the most discriminated group social in Cuba. We are the discriminated social group in Cuba, like it happened in America and every single place in the world. This is the American people. You have shit in the brain. How you can believe the communists are not racist? There are millions of standards of racism because when anybody talking about racism in communist country, because you don't have food, you don't have water, you don't have electricity, you don't have deodorant, you don't have to spray, you don't have even paper for clean your button. We're talking about racism, nobody. You had millions of problems. You don't have idea how the hell the place we live. You don't have idea the place we live and why these people are in the street now. When we left the country, we are now 4 million of the Cuba outside Cuba, and the Obama made mistake, but the Cuba don't give it nothing back. They give him anything, and the Cuban government don't give him nothing. They say to the Cuban, uh, we will bring businessmen here from the United States. Uh, uh, I suspended the embargo. Obama, he give everything for nothing. And this turn off the apartheid, discrimination, and repression 100 times more in Cuba, because now they have money to buy police car, torture instrument. They have money for paying more police, more armies in the street. They have more concentrate camp, more prison in Cuba, for in jail thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of black people, because we are the 65% of the population, and they don't like too much black in the street. They want the black people in the prison. And let me tell you something. We are only 11 million people, and we have 226 prisons in Cuba. 226 prisons in Cuba. In 14 province, we have 226 prisons in Cuba. And these 126 prisons in Cuba are the majority security and the middle security. I don't count yet the concentrate camp the army have in Cuba. Cuba is the most bigger prison in the world. Oh my God, the more bigger prison in the world. We are more or less than slave. The master, the history we have, the master, we were slaves in Cuba for 400 years. We fighting for our freedom. But the master, the Spanish master, they give food to the slave. These people even don't give us food. They want to control the country for the starving people. They don't want you keep away the embargo, because Obama say, let's stop this embargo. He give many opportunities. They take the Cuba again to the countries of terrorist cooperation and something like that. And they can go any place in the world and ask for préstamo, money to buy food, to buy everything. Desarrolle the country. They don't do nothing. They use it. They buy new park of the automobile in Cuba for repression. The repression is coming high like 100 more times for black people in special, but also for opposition. But the most suffer this situation was the black people during the time of Obama. But they made one mistake. They accepting the internet. Also, the internet they have in Cuba, they block all the page. They block all the page like Google, YouTube, and Facebook. No, they don't